board down. Holly Ayers, we switched the 2 items on you. So you get to listen to the Elkton Alliance, learn a little bit about it today. Jessica, we invited you guys here. We just wanted to kind of get an activity update, and I think you wanted to take this opportunity to introduce us to your new board.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity, Mayor Commissioners. We have a very new executive board. Brad Carrillo is now president of the Elkton Alliance. Danielle Carroll is now our vice president. Margie Blystone is now our new treasurer, and Cindy Federoff is retaining her role as secretary. So we wanted to introduce our brand new board to everyone, and then also give a brief update, and Brad is going to start. Yes, they all have the handout.
So I think you guys have the handout for us. So we're going to take a little portion of each of these. I wanted to start by talking about the organization and what's happened in the past, in the past couple months. The Alliance took under, in August, we started a strategic planning effort where we're looking at all different aspects of the Alliance. We've had 3 separate meetings to kind of identify and develop key components of the organization's message and direction. We're hoping to have results and implementation of that strategic planning to come to you, to talk to you guys and keep you abreast of that over the next several months. But we anticipate wrapping that up by the end of the year and having a full strategic plan that will be something that we can act on and have in place and put something that will be available in perpetuity. So that is one of the big organizational things that we're working on, initiatives that we're working on, and we started in August with that. The biggest thing that happened is Jessica Price was voted and further confirmed over the summer as the executive director. She's been in place there. We've reviewed some additional staffing requirements, and as we go through the roles that Mary Jo and Jessica shared together, we're trying to determine exactly what we need to fill all of those roles. There's a lot there. There's a lot of moving parts, and I'm sure you guys see some of the stuff that Mary Jo did along with Jessica. So we're pulling that out. In the short term, for a temporary, part-time position, we've just advertised for an assistant admin or an admin assistant to help with the daily tasks. And one of the biggest drivers for that is when we sat back and looked at our volunteer hours, Margie has stepped in to fill an administrative role and help Jessica through the last several months. And to date, through 2019, Margie's put in 877 volunteer hours to the Alliance, which tells us there's an absolute need for some support in the office. So we've decided to move forward with a part-time administrative assistant. We're also looking at the membership revenue and analyzing what our focal point will be for membership moving forward, how that works. And that's a key component of our strategic planning. So those are kind of the core initiatives that we're taking, that we've started to undertake. Over the next several months, we'll be able to give you an update.
Can you elaborate on that for me?
The membership, so we're looking at what the revenues of the membership are how that fits into our model funding. And we're taking a look at actually the organizational documents of the Alliance to see if there's a better way to utilize the difference between memberships and grants and stuff like that. So we're looking into that now.
Yeah, okay. Does any of that delineate the area?
So I'll take a little step back. In the strategic planning, we have a couple key board members that have gone through SWOT training. We identified some strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats as a board at the last meeting. Those are all, and then we've met several times. Part of that strategic plan is the identity. What is the full breadth of what the Alliance is or should be? And frankly, as we go through the process and talk that through as a board, I would invite any of you to maybe come to a meeting and see what we're doing. And if there's any questions, or if you'd like us to come on a more regular basis to kind of give you kind of an update of where we're heading or what we're thinking, we would appreciate that input.
Yeah, I don't think personally, I would need a formal presentation, just to kind of be kept somewhat abreast, because like I had mentioned earlier, without Mary Jo here with us every other week, we got a little bit of something, you know,
Yeah.
just talking. And,
We would be happy to
that was-
come.
That was invaluable, but that's just me, that's just my opinion, but, you know, I know you guys been through a lot, and I just feel totally in the dark about, you know, where we're at as an alliance.
I think that
The beginning
this is
of
moving.
that
Oh, yeah.
communication moving forward, I think, and not to step on toes, but I think we had to reorganize a little bit
Sure.
while we're trying to tread water
Yep.
before we could come up with something that was
Yeah.
manageable and into what Brad's saying, more strategic, well-organized, results-driven, and identify what was most important, which one of our board members was very kind to go through those exercises with us. So hopefully that will be the continuation of what we start today.
Thank you, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Oh, no problem.
sidetrack a little bit here.
I think it's a workshop, right, so you can ask Kitty what we can talk back and forth and have a completely formal.
Yeah, when you're talking about strategic planning and then something else, and I'm like, well, what exactly, you know?
Well, I'll speak a little more to it, because I was not familiar with the process either. And so when we were talking about how do we identify, you know, certain needs, or, you know, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, you know, you have to be pretty honest with yourself as an organization and the board, and we did sit through that at the last meeting and understand what is it? And one of the key questions is what you're asking. You know, what are we doing what is our footprint, you know, who are we going, who are our clients, who do we service? You know, those are all things that are, they're not unknown. I think that they've been on the same track for several years. You know, and I think that as we move forward, we want to make sure that that's well defined and everybody kind of understands that role.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah. I think I think it's a very positive step, you know, especially in light of, like you're saying, you got a little tidbit from Mary Jo as she's around town. As a more formal board, we all aren't around town during the week to be able to give those updates. So there might be times that we'll be happy, I'll be happy, I think our executive board would be happy to come to work sessions on a fairly regular basis to give you those updates. And we can send, you know, some kind of updates as we go so you guys can read through those. I think a key component to the Alliance being successful, and it's much appreciated, is the support by the town. So moving forward, we want to make sure that you as a board understands and wants to see that, you know, we want to be able to do what we should be doing for the town and for the businesses and being an alliance that we all ought to do.
Good deal.
I'm gonna flip flop a little bit. I asked Jessica if we could speak on the promotion side before she reviewed some of the grant results, simply because I will, so my records, I do have to step out a little early, so I apologize. But things have been going actually very well event-wise. The staff, Margie, Jessica, volunteers have all been able to execute all of the planned events the town had on the books for 2019 so far year to date. They've actually added 2 additional successful events. One, of course, your first master sitting over there, the comedy roast of the mayor. The second being the dinner under the stars. This is the first year that the Alliance took on those events, and both of those were during very difficult times. So the fact that they were both able to be profitable in any way is a positive, and I think that would be a good thing to build on and look at as we move forward with some of these strategic planning sessions that we do. Music on Main, the board had changed from Thursdays to Fridays to really infuse the first Fridays, maybe try to generate some of that weekend traffic to come to Elkton as a designation, which also added 5 additional weeks of music. So it's definitely grown a little bit, and it's been a success for the First Fridays, which is, I think everybody, merchants are pretty happy with in general. So that's been a focus, which is kind of the next thing. You know, we're working for themed events as a trial for First Fridays. You know, with part of our strategic planning, Brad mentioned, we're looking at impact, public draw, not just dollars and cents, but of course we're looking at all facets of the events. So as we look to maybe theme some of the, you know, music on Mains or First Fridays, you know, we'll be looking at that. But they'll be coming to an end actually the end of September, I believe, correct, Jess? The First Friday, or not First Fridays, the music on Main.
This Friday.
This Friday is the last one of the season. As far as events for the rest of the year, Fall Fest is in full swing. We've gotten a lot of the marketing material out. Jessica and Margie have been working hard to work with our advertising deadlines and market pieces, our vendor selection for the day, layouts, all that goes with that. Volunteers are working hard and starting to kind of come on board to execute their roles for that. The Halloween parade is an exciting thing that's coming up as well. Bobby Ann's is helping with, you know, some of the putting on of that event and carrying forth what the expectations have been for a successful event. I know we made some slight changes on candy throwing versus in the stores to generate some traffic into the merchants for a la, you know, trunk or treat style. So that's something, you know, that's been analyzed and maybe a little different for the parade. Old Fashioned Christmas and Cash for Christmas are really the end of the season. December gets to be a really busy office month for events, and especially Cash for Christmas is a very big undertaking for the office. So overall, events for 2019 surprisingly have gone really well, considering the staff and what the organization's gone through. As we look to plan 2020, we're waiting to kind of get through some of this strategic planning to identify those key components and then move forward with event planning for 2020.
Has Roger decided whether he's going to come back and help with the Halloween parade this year?
He's emceeing the parade, and he's going to be involved in some
He is going to
capacity.
be.
I don't know if he's emceeing or not.
Yeah.
When I talked to him about a week ago,
I know
he
he's
had
offered
mentioned
to.
that he offered. I think his big thing was we were looking at Friday evening versus a Saturday afternoon. And if it were to have been changed to a Saturday afternoon, he couldn't be able to accommodate the sound system and being present. But I think with keeping it at the Friday evening parade event, my most recent conversation was that he would be. But I think we
Yeah,
might.
Susie Smith and her daughter Anna Smith have agreed to take it on. And they've been participants for years with Bobby Ann's Dance Studio. So they're very energetic, very excited. They're already working on the sponsorship letters, everything's getting ready to go out. And they're the ones that are really pushing the changes, such as no throwing of the candy. Like, they'll allow people, if they want to give out candy to the crowd, have a designated person with the group who gave it. But we just don't want to have the kids running into the street anymore, because, you know, big fire trucks and things like that, it's just.
Smart.
And we're gonna be adding a trick-or-treating portion of it, like Daniel said, where merchants can give out candy directly after the parade and then walk up Main Street and give out candy like a trick-or-treat.
All right, well, if you get in the line, I'll do anything I can to help, including taking his role, and I have a sound system in case you need it.
Oh, wonderful.
That's awesome. Thank you, Robin.
Maybe the last float could hand out the candy.
I think the idea for the candy was, there's the alcove next to the brewery. I think people were talking about decorating that for the holiday. And then the Main Street vendors, any vendors,
Parade route
merchants.
vendors
Yeah,
throughout
on that
town.
parade route will have, so the kids that will, they go back to the parking lot, but then to finish the night, they can walk through town with their parents and we'll have it, you know, we'll be able to pass out the candy, so they'll get probably more than the throwing, but it'll be an opportunity. We think it's a good opportunity to reintroduce the kids and their family downtown after the event, to just walk through and see what it looks like. You know, what the town looks like on a Friday evening, and we'll see how that plays out. And I think the vendors and the merchants, you know, will all participate, I would imagine. I think the total planning's not all fleshed out yet. I think Bobby Ann is really trying to hone that in. But the idea was to kind of recapture some of the people that are actually in the parade, that, you know, they would come and go to the back and stay in the back, walk through the parade, go to the back and leave.
What time does it usually wrap up?
7 p.m. is when it begins.
Yeah, usually
So-
by 9 o'clock they're gone, because we would feed them in the back parking lot and then that would go on. So I think initially we would do the parade at 7, as soon as that's done, the trick or treat portion. But it's all
They're
getting
gonna
pushed
feed
out.
them?
We're not sure how that's gonna plan out yet, because we're revamping everything. It may be something that we give them like chips and like juice boxes and things like that along that trick or treat route. Might be the, yeah, we're in the process of figuring that all out.
That's tricky. All right, good luck with it.
So I will go ahead and turn it over to Jessica, who's going to talk about some of our grant results so far for 2019 and the future.
Yes, we've continued to run the facade grant program. It is run through the town. The grant itself is through the town, but we administer the grant. So we do all the legwork, and then the money comes through the town and out to the participants in the grant. We closed out 4 projects that had been started previously before I became executive director. I listed them there. The 160 does have their check now, so that's, they're not waiting on that anymore. But since then, we have done 8 new projects that have been submitted. There is, I believe there's 2 more that are in the process of being ready to be turned in. Once all of those are done, our entire grant cycle, we may only have 5,000 left. We did apply for 50,000 more for 2020 fiscal year. But everything has been running very smoothly with that grant, and we're using it, and the state likes to see that. So as soon as it comes in, we're pushing it back out. We've also applied for the Main Street Improvement Grant and Technical Assistance Grant. We have not heard word back from that. The only thing I've heard is that I believe we were given the MIP grant. They just haven't given us the official paperwork of what was approved for that. And then we also have I think Marge is going to talk more about, we've received other grants through the A&E district, and Marge is going to talk more about that. And then we've also, there's an opportunity for the Clean, Safe, and Green program through Keep America Beautiful. We've applied to be a part of that program, and there's numerous grants that are available for that, so with litter containers and things for your downtown. So as soon as that's up and running, we can apply for more of these. And then Marge is going to tell a little bit design.
Can I ask a question? Can I go back to the most recent 4 months? I'm looking at these addresses, I have no clue
Sure.
who they
Second.
are and what are they trying to achieve.
Sure. 117 East Main, I believe, is.
I mean, you don't have to tell us right now as far as officer.
Sure. A lot of them are. What was that?
Could you just email?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I actually have all the full packets. I could send you the packets to look through. But most of them. But it is facade grant, so everything,
Like,
anything on the front.
How
Yeah.
about the back? Aren't you guys working on the back too?
Only if the back
Or no?
faces, like a street. So like some of the things like
Yeah.
are like on Howard Street and whatnot, some things are, it's almost like a case by case, we kind
Oh,
of like
okay. I
go
was
back
just
and
curious,
forth. Like most of these are like painting, brickwork, signage.
Windows.
What was that?
Windows.
Windows.
Okay, but it's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting, just look, email, like,
And a couple of them are murals. We're able to use facade grant for the
Today?
murals. Yeah,
Okay.
so a lot of those, like the 113 West Main, is good.
it's just,
Yeah, I could see, I'll
no
send
big
everything.
deal, no big deal, we would appreciate
Yeah,
that.
no problem.
So to go into the design, basically, we're just talking about the mural that is on Bow Street there. That was a facade grant in conjunction with the Arts Council getting a grant for that mural. So they worked together to make that mural updated, and because it was really falling apart. So that has been completed. We found that out today. Then I was able to, through the office, get 2 grants awarded, an operating and a technical assistance grant from the Maryland State Arts Council, in total $15,000. And we have been using that money to do marketing. So we gave you some of the brand new brochures for the Arts Loop that has really well laid out plan of everything that we offer downtown in services and beauty and arts and everything else. So that's a beautiful brochure that I'm super proud of that Brunch Muffin Designs completed. And Brunch Muffin Design, Meredith and Jason Boaz are graduates of Cecil College Marketing. So they're artists in town. They live up on West Main, and we're keeping it local. So that's wonderful that we are able to utilize them. The other project that money has been going towards is the new community garden that we're putting at 135 East Main Street, which is directly next door to the Arts Council and the Historical Society. It's kind of an art history garden. It is leading people back to the cabin in the back with the brick walkway. We secured the bricks from the town and had a volunteer come and help lay all those bricks. Built a deck. We have lighting there, tables, seating, and I have invitations, if you want to hand those out, for a ribbon cutting that we were doing at 6:30 p.m. on First Friday, October 4th. We ask that you will join us. We're going to have servers walking around, and it is at 6:30, so it'll be at dusk, and you'll be able to see all the beautiful lighting and how gorgeous the garden is all lit up. That was a space that was overgrown with weeds and tree that was falling apart. It is almost complete. We worked on a community art project this first Friday where we had members of the community just come in and create 11 by 14 panels of an overall piece of artwork that will hang in the niche in the garden. So that's a really neat project that has encompassed members of the community that can come and look at and see that piece of the panel that they did to create that overall piece of artwork. So we're really excited to bring this to the community, to have people enjoy it. And just so you know, it is very well lit at night. So it has been, so far, been very safe and a really nice place to visit. And so we want that to be a place of inspiration and creativity.
I think the brochure is very informative and very descriptive. I don't know who came up with all the planning. I guess art people do that, but this is nice.
Brunch Muffin Designs, that was a difficult map to create. We started with a map of the overall district lines for the Arts and Entertainment District. And the problem with doing that was it looked like a little tiny bit of something on one street and a little tiny thing over here. She was able to cut that piece of Railroad Avenue and inset that, so it makes it more centralized and really shows off the district. And it's so cohesive with the color coding on it also. And you'll note that our website is on there. We have a new website, the logo, everything for the Arts and Entertainment District. This has all come out of that operating grant money that we received. So we are branding the Arts and Entertainment District, and it's working out very well. We're getting a good following on social media and driving people over to the website. And one of the things I'm doing with the website is there is sorry, I'm blanking on a word, a blog post that I put in. And what I've started doing, I've done it with the Teal Antler, and I'm just grabbing people who are in the brochure, and I'm doing a story on their business. So you can read about how the Teal Antler got started, how they got their name, what they love to sell most, and then that gets their customers driven to the website and helps build the people going to the website and checking it out, and helps highlight these different merchants that we have in venues downtown.
Be nice.
We have a whole bunch of them, so I'm going to be taking them on to other hotels.
We're going to be delivering them to all the local hotels as well, and the visitor centers.
No, I mean, just residents alone don't know what you have.
So we just got them last Friday.
Yeah, all of the merchants that are all on Main Street are they're getting them.
Didn't even know.
She was away to.
Is there a PDF version of this?
I'm sure we can get one and we put it on the website so people can see it.
It's supposed to be going onto the website, and I think she's gonna make it interactive, so it will be on the Arts and Entertainment website. So we'll put that through social media to get that out also. The map isn't currently on there, but the plan is included on there.
Okay, so the last topic on our agenda today was the economic vitality, just to kind of give you guys an update of what's going on downtown. We have, there's a few buildings that are vacant. There's been several interested parties on the 107 North Street building, so no one's really come in to say, hey, we're going to do something there, but we've noticed some traffic pickup on that. Nothing real concrete or set in stone at this point. We're really trying to maintain contact with the local property owners downtown and on availability for potential new leads for people that would like to come into town. And we're continually working on filling some of those vacant buildings. I think there's a few that have been somewhat difficult to get a hold of owners. The out-of-state owners are hard to get a hold of. So as we have a lead, we've been able to fill most of the buildings that are locally owned pretty much. The Showcase on Main opened last week, which was a great addition to getting a building that had been vacant for a very long time, occupied, and the venue. I happen to be there on Saturday. It was a great turnout on Saturday and Sunday for them, and that's a huge addition downtown to everybody else. So. We're working on, continuing that momentum. We do have, Jessica gets several people that are interested in buildings. We might not have the perfect building to fit their needs at that time. So we do have a couple interested people that come down that we have a space, so the idea would be to have some sort of maybe a waiting list or, people that we could move in and then continually growing the Main Street district.
And we have a few businesses that want to expand, we just don't have any buildings that match their needs yet. So there are a few that are looking for more space, it's just trying to find the right fit for them.
Is that Annie's, is that one of the difficult ones?
That one, they actually did just sell. We were checking real properties, which yesterday they sold on August 29th. So we're trying to find a contact. Unfortunately, it lists the actual address of 120 West Main is listed as the new owner's address. So there's no typically they'll have a different address, you can find out who it is. And
Which building is that?
the old Stanley Newsstand, 120 West Main. Yeah, they just had a brand new owner, so now we're just trying to figure out how to locate them. I did a quick search, it looks like they may be a lawyer in Bel Air, but I don't know if that's that actual person without much to go on, so we're seeing what we can find out so we can contact them.
As you obtain, clients or whatever, new businesses or whatever, could you just shoot us an email on that? I will tell you, for me personally, it's embarrassing to have somebody from outside say, oh, so you got blah, 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 and I'm like a deer in the headlight. I did not know that.
I think that's very fair.
As contracts are signed, because we can't really give too much information
No,
until we
I
know
know.
for sure, but.
And like, guess what? This is getting ready to happen,
Yeah.
or that would be fantastic.
Lastly, on just,
Oh,
go ahead.
Do we have any word on the deli at Main and
I have not heard anything new from them. I tried to contact the gentleman that was going in there, but he hasn't gotten back to me. I know they put up a new awnings and new signage, but other than that, I haven't heard any other movement on it.
The last bullet point that's not on yours is the branding project that we worked on. You guys were part of that last year. The board, after it was unveiled, we talked to the state. The state wanted to have some input on that. Part of grants that we're looking at, the state kind of had some input, so we stepped back a little bit to make sure we had all the buy-in from everybody that we needed to have the buy-in from. That is part of the strategic plan too, to get that unveiled. So we have all of the data, we have all of the implementation strategy. It's just a matter of actually implementing it and getting behind what we decide to do there. And so it has been a little slow this year in light of everything going on. We anticipate meeting with the state in the next couple of weeks for a lot of different reasons. But that is one of our agenda items as well. So the branding project is not dead. It's something that is on our agenda. We have a lot of other things that we're kind of working on. But as soon as we make a decision to move forward, we would like to make sure that you guys will be in the loop on that and understand what that means and what we'll do with it. So,
Thanks for bringing that up, because it has died in my mind, and you just brought it back.
it hasn't died in my mind. We spent a lot of time on it. So, for us, the strategic plan, in closing, I guess, and then I'm sure you might have a couple other questions. In closing, our strategic plan is going to be how we're going to guide the organization moving forward in the next several months. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of decisions to make. The good news is we have an active board. We have an engaged board. We've met several times. We anticipate meeting as many times as need be to move this forward and make sure that everybody's in the loop, especially as a town. We need to work together. We've always worked together. You're absolutely right. If there's a business coming down and you're out and about, you should probably know. So those are all things, and we'll open it up to any invite, or if you would like us to come to a work session on a standing work session, we'll be happy to come give you small updates on a Wednesday afternoon. And we'll be happy to do that. I'll leave that kind of up to you. And if anything large comes, we'll ask to be on the agenda.
That sounds good. Did we used to get the minutes of the meeting, or am I mistaken?
I think we did.
Yeah, we did.
I'll make sure you're on the list.
Maybe that would be
That would be helpful.
the way to
Be
go.
updated.
Absolutely.
That's the way to
We come in
go.
for periodic updates.
Anything major happens in between, and
How about if we do it this way then, just so we kind of have a little bit of direction for us to keep you informed. We'll get all of you on the mailing list for the minutes. If there's questions, please email the questions if you'd like us to come, or if there's a topic that you want more understanding, we'll be happy to come to the work session.
I think it's good.
I like that.
So that's it for us, I believe. Do you guys have any questions, comments?
Thanks for coming in.
One.
I do.
Had you guys thought that we had the means or the funds to put an insert in the Cecil Whig, the Newark Post, the Oxford Tribune, some nice brochure, maybe even a condensed version of it? Every paper that goes out have an insert.
I have to look at the budget currently, what I have left, and see if that's possible.
But there is another grant available for
There-
next year.
I'm
We might
working
be
on
able to
another
use
grant for
some of that
next
funds
year.
for that.
So,
It's interesting to see this. It's a good idea.
I just wanted to thank you, first of all, for coming in, but for the volunteers that are serving on the boards. It's invaluable time. And Margie, especially you. I'm amazed at the hours, well, I'm not amazed.
And that's actually just from March to August, so
Oh my
that's
goodness.
just.
I don't know what we do without you. Thank
I love
you
what I'm
for,
doing, and I love that gal right there. I love
Thank
Mary
you.
Jo. So, however, the organization is very important to me. I've seen so much growth over the period of time that I've been, I think it's been 10 years now that I've been volunteering downtown, and I've seen it happen, and to be a part of it is exciting, and there's a lot of pride involved, and this organization is super important to me.
okay, so you're not going anywhere. Okay. Thank you.
I think there's, I'll just make one comment, and how important this organization is to the town should go, I don't want to say should go without saying, but the fact is, over the some bad years that we had in our community, there is no doubt that if we did not have the Elkton Alliance in place, we would have had boarded up buildings. We wouldn't have had the investment that's coming back into our community. And just looking at the front sheet here, you can see the active grants. I think every year for at least the last, I would say every year for at least the last 19 to 20 years, we've received a minimum of $50,000 in facade grants from the state, and some years, $100,000. So what does that mean? Well, it means that if we're getting on average 75,000, then the property owner is investing 75,000. So when you look at that through the course of those years, it's a lot of dollars that are keeping those windows from being boarded up. And we do have still, in my view, we have the old town hall, 107 North Street, that we got to do whatever we can to get that building active. And I would ask, I see it listed as some action going there, but figure out a way that we can be creative and get that building done and find us a tenant or a buyer of that building. That's all, my only comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, I don't know how I feel about the Elkton Alliance. I'm always there for you.
Thank you.
And listen, I really want you to get involved with Mr. Gibling. You got to get involved with this group, and they will help you. Oh, I was saying, Mr. Gibling, at the last meeting, we mentioned that the Alliance is the organization that you need to be taking these projects to. Not necessarily. Give it right there to Jessica. Jessica, there you go. Hey, Jess. Mr. Gibling has, he didn't have his hearing aids, and I'm talking louder because of it. But those are some great projects that maybe we can implement. All right, next on the agenda, we have Holly Ayers. Come on down. Holly is going to talk about the school zone drug enforcement. And Holly, I'm going to apologize because in about 7 or 8 minutes, I'm going to exit. And Commissioner Givens is going to take over, but I have an extremely important meeting at the county building.
I'm going to work really hard to take 6 minutes.
Perfect, well, that'll work.
So, with the police department, we're just looking for another tool. This law has been on the books. I think you all had a copy of the law about controlled dangerous substances near schools. There are 1,000 feet of property owned by a school that teaches certain curriculum. There's an added charge that we can use in the police department that's a felony. It enhances some penalties. It makes it easier for the judges if they're convicted of distribution of drugs in the school zone. There's a minimum mandatory of 5 years. And it's not, they can't make that at the same time with the other charge. Great tool for us to be able to use. We've never been able to use it before because part of the statute is that we have to have a map that's either certified or signed off by the municipality, which is obviously you. I worked with Chief Leonard quite a bit, and she got with Dave Black, the GIS coordinator, and that's what this map is. It looks so much bigger before it was hanging on his wall. But there are red lines that he used the GIS mapping system for our town, and he was able to take the boundary lines of each school in town and create the 1,000 feet from those boundaries. And within those red lines, once you all approve, we can use this charge anytime we get anyone distributing drugs. And we had the state's attorney approve the curriculum for the school in the Hollies right there.
That's
So
wonderful.
basically, 1,000 feet covers all but maybe Road 1. And of course, it's all these areas around South Chase. There's the school over here in Triumph that's a private school. I had him add the one on Appleton Road because of 1,000 feet from the water jurisdiction. But he created the map for us, we approved it, and I would love it if you all would approve it in a resolution next week. So I'll actually get back and show you what the law looks like.
What do you mean Road 1? Road 1 is...
Road 1 in Hollywood Manor is
Is it
just
excluded?
more than 1,000 feet from the school. Yeah.
Would the Board of Education be included in that itself as a building? I know,
No, because they don't teach that.
right, but I know kids go back and forth.
How about that little, what they
That's what he saw, that's what she saw about it.
the 1,000 feet longer?
It doesn't make it to Road 1. They're still guilty of distributing, which is still a felony. We just can't have it together.
You can't give
We
them a
can't
mandatory 5
revise
years,
that?
right?
That's the minimum mandatory one there.
And that no judge can undo this.
They can't, they can't be paroled.
Now, giving fair warning, will we have to post the
Oh, I
area?
want to.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I
with
want
that
to
too.
put it on
That's
our
great.
website, and I
I
want to
agree.
make drug dealers know that we're going to use everything we can.
I want them to know it's not gonna be tolerated, and that we're gonna do everything we can to keep them behind bars.
I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen with the Parks and Rec building, but if someone maybe could rent a room once a week to teach GED, we could get that covered.
That's so true.
I mean, there's possibilities coming up in the future.
Yeah, would that fall in piano lessons? Any teaching such as the piano lessons or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. That could be a nice little program.
Yeah, I think so.
What kind of teaching?
Well, we have GED and Head Start are the curriculum that we were able to do with the Hollingsworth Marriage School. They're elementary type programs that would be taught in a Board of Ed environment.
Very good.
Head Start maybe going to be an easier one.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
I think you have my support.
I'm going to.
And mine.
Was that under 6 minutes?
Under 6 minutes.
I don't
Fantastic.
know.
Thank
If
you.
we knew that, you could have went first.
That's okay, I needed a break. Thank you.
There was nothing else on our workshop agenda today, but I think that there was some folks here, probably came in regards to listen, I guess, of our workshop, I'm assuming. But with that, this meeting's adjourned, and I got to get to the courthouse.